Hi! Recaps Pro here. In this video, we are going to discuss the movie Antropoid. Be ready for the spoilers. The movie Antropoid starts with a bang. The starting scene includes two soldiers who parachute their way down into foreign territory. One of the men is fine, but he hears his comrade Joseph grunt and rushes towards him, only to find that his leg was wounded and their equipment struck the branches of a tree. They camp around for the night in a snow-covered forest, when they are woken up by someone with a gun and a hound, who takes them to his place and shelters them. But the soldiers get a whiff of trouble, and Joseph kicks down the door of a room, only to find the stranger dialing to report them to the government. To save themselves, Ian and Joseph kill a man, but the stable boy manages to flee. They both steal the truck and continue on their journey toward Prague. In the city, they pull over at an apartment and ask for Ulrich Novak, their contact in Prague. The hose lady tells them that the person doesn't live there anymore, and they should just go away. When they ask for help with Joseph's leg, she tells them the directions of a veterinary doctor, who could help them. The doctor tells them about Heydrich, and how he brutally executed thousands of people to crush the resistance. He tells them that he would put them in contact with the miller, and offers them the place. Joseph warns him to not do anything to make them enemies for himself. The miller arrives the next morning and takes the soldiers to a hideout, where they come face to face with the leaders of the resistance. Upon being asked about Ulrich, they inform them that he was taken away, and were waiting for London to re-establish contact. Then Joseph replies that it wasn't their mission, and their mission was to assassinate Heydrich and end his rule in Prague. The leader of the Czech resistance gets enraged, thinking that Joseph had lost it, and tells him that if they kill Heydrich, Hitler will destroy Prague. Then Uncle Hejsky, the man beside the leader of the resistance, takes them to a safety hideout, which has roof access and introduces them to other characters Ada and Maria. Mr. Moravec offers them jobs as engine cleaners. Joseph then approaches Maria and asks for her cooperation with both of them to get one of her friends and help them find out more about the situation. Maria suggests her friend Lenka's name and invites them to a New Year Eve's dance the next day. The following night, Lenka and Marie make an entrance to the dance hall, where Joseph gets furious at them for dressing up so beautifully, stating that they would be now receiving more attention, and they would be getting caught. He asks Lenka to slap him, and when she does, he exits the room. They return to the safe house, where the resistance leader waits to supply them with ammunition and informs them about a meeting place. The next morning, both Jan and Joseph go to the meeting place with Maria and Lenka to avoid suspicion and meet their old comrades. The leader states that due to their comrade, the connections with London were re-established, and there are soldiers available to assist them with their mission, which was stated as Mission Anthropoid. Then follows a scene in which, to escape a few German soldiers who enter the cafe, Lenka distracts them by doing a bizarre show of her legs. Jan and Joseph follow the patterns and observe the movements of Heydrich, who carries an armed escort that follows him with a time gap of 30 seconds, in which they plan to assassinate him. They soon begin to watch and track the habits and timings of Heydrich, during which they accidentally reveal their mission to Lenka and Maria, who then respond to them by saying that they have no problem whatsoever with the mission, but clearly show that they were pissed off with the misinformation. The next scene shows Jan and Joseph developing photos which Joseph takes to mark spots and openings on the path followed by Heydrich, and they decide to assassinate him at a risky opening but the best option that they had. Over breakfast, Maria has doubts about the mission she chose and asks Jan if killing Heydrich would put an end to this and get them relief. Jan simply says that they have their orders, and he wished he had an answer for her. On the other hand, Lenka tells Joseph about her father, who was among the first 5,000 people shot in the first week of Heydrich's rule, and that there was no way that she was going to back up from the plan. Joseph tells her and Uncle Hejsky that he and John had studied the routes well, and he believed they could succeed. He then asks Uncle Hejsky what was Ladislav, the leader of the resistance, so afraid of this mission. They return to their safe house and walk in on Maria and Jan doing the dirty. That would have been awkward. Then Joseph and Lenka dance together to pass the time. The next day, Jan and Joseph reveal the details of their plan to Ladislav, who still keeps denying that they should do the assassination. He keeps insisting on waiting for further orders from London and wants to ask them to reconsider. The next day at Ada's birthday party, Jan and Maria reveal their decision of getting married to each other at the table. Everyone feels happy, but Joseph tells Jan that he was lying to himself and that they were there to finish the mission. Jan responds by saying that he had to believe there was a way off after they finished their mission, and that he hoped things would go back to normal after they finished their mission and await further instructions. He then also says that Maria makes him feel like there's still hope, and he loved her. They start preparing for the assassination and start making grenades when Jan jokingly rolls an empty one as soon as Joseph warns him to not drop anything even by accident. The next day, Ada gives them a letter which Mr. Moravec notices at the lunch table. The letter was sent by the London government to instruct them to proceed with Mission Anthropoid and stop afterward. Jan then states the obvious fact that they haven't mentioned anything to take them away to safety, and Joseph burns the ciphered message. As soon as they burn the cipher, Uncle Hejski and Ladislav knock on their doors, where they inform them that new rumors suggest Heydrich was given a new posting in Paris and may be gone the day after tomorrow. Joseph replies that they will kill Heydrich the next day since they were left with no choice. Then Ladislav shows them a transmission from London, saying that Antropoid should be terminated. Joseph doesn't believe in that and then asks Ladislav again why he was so fearful. Ladislav replies that if he does this, Czechoslovakia might be erased off the map, and exits the room. While preparing for the assassination, Jan reveals that he had never killed a man before in the field, and breaks down due to a panic attack. Joseph grabs him and pins him down, empties all the bullets in the cartridge of a pistol, and makes Jan focus on one action to relieve him of the attack. The next day, Jan and Joseph bid farewell to Miss Moravec, and Joseph leaves Lenka with a kiss, and join the other members of the resistance to carry out their final task. The men make an elaborate plan to make their car of Heydrich slow down for a bit, and Joseph orders a man to signal with a mirror if he has an armed escort or to light a cigarette if he doesn't. Jan is told to throw grenades at the armed escort if there is one that day, and a man is strategically positioned on the road to slow down the Mercedes of Heydrich. The men take their positions, and Joseph slowly starts assembling the stun gun in the cover of his trench coat. While sitting on a bench with Jan began pacing around stressfully while the car of Heydrich approaches. As soon as the car of Heydrich is spotted, the man signals to Joseph with a mirror, stating that there was no armed escort. The car stops suddenly as Joseph steps into the path of Heydrich and proceeds to shoot down his car along with him when the gun fails to work. As Heydrich begins to shoot Joseph down, John throws a grenade onto the car, which stuns everyone, and Joseph shoots down Heydrich. The sergeant beside Heydrich follows Joseph in pursuit, who manages to shoot him down in his knee, and escapes by boarding a tram. John escapes the scene on a bicycle beforehand. Joseph meets Kurta, a man who was supposed to join the assassination attempt, and asks him why he didn't meet them at the place. Kurta replies that he did not think they were seriously gonna do it and tells Joseph that 20,000 SS troops were drafted in to look for them. Kurta then tells him that he needs to get his family out of Prague, to which Joseph replies that they would get caught and thrown in prison camps if they try to escape, and tells Kurta to get to his family and not come out. Joseph then tells Kurta that they failed, and goes away. Joseph reaches the safe house and finds Jan safe, and then Uncle Hejski tells them that they wounded Heydrich, but it's hard to say how much since the SS had surrounded the hospital with a lot of troops and says that they had more guns up there than on the Eastern Front. Uncle then says that a father promised to hide them in a church until they could find a way back to London. Suddenly, Marie arrives, sobbing, and breaks the news of the death of Lenka. She tells them that while rounding off hostages on the street, Lenka tried to escape, but she got shot and was killed immediately. Joseph immediately gets violent and shouts, saying that it was all his fault, and tries to get out of the house to try and kill the Germans. Jan stops him and puts him under control again by consoling him. Jan and Joseph then bid farewell to Maria, and go to the church with Uncle Hejski, to remain there and lay low until London could send reinforcements. Father Patek gives them a hidden crypt to stay inside the church, promising them that they would be safe there. They find other parachuters there and introduce themselves to their comrades. The father comes and informs the soldiers that Heydrich had died in the hospital, and in retaliation, the entire village of Leditz was razed to the ground, as the soldiers shot every man over the age of 16 there and took all the women and children away to camps, just because of a rumor that Leditz had helped the assassins somehow. He explains that a full pardon has been granted to the family who did not come forward before, and help them, but had a deadline of 5 days, upon completion of which the entire 30,000 population of Czechs was going to be killed. Jan then suggests that they put on a metal placard saying they were the assassins and commit suicide, to which their friends remind them that as a soldier, their duty was to remain alive and fight. The church gets discovered due to Ada and they start torturing him to get information regarding the people who assassinated Heydrich. They show him the severed head of his mother and continue pressing down upon him until he finally breaks down and reveals that the soldiers were in the church. On the other hand, the soldiers get ready to be taken to London in the form of a funeral procession, disguised as pole bearers and dead bodies. The German soldiers act upon the info received by Ada and surround the church, which the Czech soldiers decide to hold, as there was no time to inform the others. The sound of gunshots wakes up Joseph and his team, who then rush to help their comrades, but stop again to prevent their location from getting known. Jan orders everyone to block the stairway, as it was the only access point when a machine gun fire kills Bublik, a comrade. He apologizes to Jan because he didn't want to die. Meanwhile, a whole squad of Germans surrounds and breaks into the church, and rain fire upon the soldiers. At the same time, soldiers raid the house of Hijski, who then commits suicide by chewing the cyanide pill, to not get caught by the Germans. Due to so much hellfire and getting caught in between, Jan dies. Kurta gets brought by the Germans to identify their comrades and gets inside the church, and being forced by the Germans, asks Joseph to surrender. The soldier fires back and replies that he was Czech. The Germans start flooding the church basement with water and planted explosives on the church floor to force them out. Joseph's team starts digging for a way out but is unable to do so. The Germans repeatedly start throwing grenades and explosives into the flooded basement, and finally, Joseph and his comrades shoot themselves, instead of letting themselves get captured. The movie ends with trivia and facts, which led to Jewish extermination and Czechoslovakia being declared an important ally of the Allied Union. This movie is a story that is too bitter to be forgotten so soon and serves as a really good movie capable of displaying different emotions and disasters caused by war. Thanks for watching.